right, good evening, everyone. How y'all doing tonight? Good? Awesome, okay. Good. All right. So I hope everybody's enjoying Downtown Tuesday. I'm sure there's free parking everywhere. But welcome. My name is Joey Palacios. I'm TPR's engagement producer, so very excited to have everybody here for this Artist Forum on graphic design. So tonight's event is in collaboration with the City of San Antonio's Department of Arts and Culture and is made possible by the Lifshutz Foundation. And we're really excited to bring this series. We're taking a look into the different type of art that shapes San Antonio. Previous conversations have focused on filmmaking, on photography. Another series we have called Great SA talks about all the different kinds of food in San Antonio, panels similar to this. So tonight, we're going into graphic design, and this is where organic ideas are molded and shaped into digital life, whether you're expressing yourself, a deeper community idea, or promoting an event. The artists that we're featuring today are part of the network that is the soul of this industry, especially here in San Antonio. So we're going to dive into where these ideas come from, how they're given form, and where the spark starts to bring this to life. Plus, we're going to talk about what the future looks like alongside all the praises and condemnations of AI and creative works. So let's meet our panel. First, we have Eli Miller, who is an art director and designer specializing in visual identities and creative strategy. Eli, tell us about yourself.
Well, hello, everyone. Exactly. I tend to focus on branding. My background was in editorials, so I have a pretty wide scope of design that I do. But currently, there's quite a bit of branding work, web design, and even a bit of environmental. In terms of my education, I studied at Savannah College of Art and Design, with a background in art direction of advertising. So I tend to bring quite a bit of strategy into all of my design.
Okay, very cool. Next, we have Regina Morales, who is a graphic designer and illustrator, and she works full-time at Next Day Custom Tees as lead artist and social media manager. So welcome, Regina. Tell us about yourself.
Hello, everybody. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I do illustrations, event flyers, logos, branding, and things like that. If you check out my Instagram, most of my stuff is pretty bold lines, colorful, and that's pretty much it. Thank you.
So, according to your bio, you also do some work for the Dog Father. I love
Oh, yeah,
that restaurant.
yeah. Yeah, logos like the Dog Father, Lonesome Rose, Luchador Bar. You might have seen some out there if you are in the nightlife.
All right, very cool. Next is Ray Scarborough, also known as Tattooed Boy, who, as you may know, recently designed the new artwork that is being featured here at TPR. So, Ray, welcome.
Hello.
And let's introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Ray, Tattooed Boy. Been an artist professionally since 2005. I got my start stealing a copy of Illustrator off the internet, and ever since then, they haven't caught me. So it's been I've been doing flyers for friends. Professionally, I've been working in the industry professionally for about 16 years. And just recently, I started working for myself, and it's been fun.
Okay, cool. And then Shelby Criswell is an artist and designer from here in San Antonio. They contributed to the award-winning comic Be Gay, Do Comics, as well as many other contributions, including collaborating with Texas band Asleep at the Wheel. So Shelby, tell us about yourself.
Howdy, I'm Shelby. I'm also a tattooed boy. I do a lot of graphic design, mainly for like the wine industry in California. Kind of pays my bills, and then I do comics and then illustration on the side. And then I've recently started moving back into studio arts.
Okay, very cool. All right, so the later half of this conversation is going to be very audience-driven. So if you have a question that pops up while we're in discussion with the panel, go ahead, maybe write it down or put it in your front shirt pocket and keep it for later on. And so we want to invite everybody that wants to dive into the subjects we're talking to towards the later half. But I do have a question for each of you, just so our panel knows who our audience is. How many of you here are graphic artists yourselves? Okay, very cool. So I would say that's about half of the folks in here. And
From what we can see.
From what we can see. And how many of y'all want to get into graphic design and you're just starting out and wanting to know more? Show of hands? Okay, very cool. All right. Definitely an active and interested and engaged audience here. All right, so perfect. Let's go ahead and get started. Of course, all my stuff comes out of order. All right, so outside, you've been able to see some of their works on our media wall. And that type of skill is not something that just appears overnight. So Shelby, let's start with you. How did you first start your journey into graphic design?
So graphic design specifically, my dad was a graphic designer, so I spent a lot of time as a kid learning Photoshop with him. I would sit on his lap and we would spend hours on the computer. So I've always kind of had this like graphic design brain, but it didn't start that way. In college, I dropped out and I started doing flyers for bands or like t-shirts or just anything I could scrounge up. And eventually I was like, okay, I guess I'm a graphic designer. I need to learn how to lay out text, which also helped me when I was doing comics. And then, yeah, eventually started doing comics and then kind of moved away from graphic design, but then I got a graphic design job doing wine stuff for in the Santa Barbara County, California. And then here I am 8 years later, still working in that industry.
How was that transition from going from doing comics to the wine flyers you said you were doing?
Pretty seamless because I was using a lot of the same programs. So, and like laying out text anyway. So other than like the illustration aspect of comics, it wasn't that crazy of a difference.
So Eli, when we were initially talking last week, you were talking about how you said being a graphic designer wasn't your initial intent, but that evolved into what you're doing now. How did that happen?
Yeah, so growing up, I always loved fine arts. And when I was deciding what college to attend, I was really split between studying art, psychology, and business. And I ended up deciding on graphic design because I felt like it merged all three. I was able to create something like truly artistic every day. I was also able to think about what makes people tick and, use strategy to solve real world problems. So it was that combination that led me to graphic design. But my actual major was art direction of advertising, which just so happened to have quite a bit of graphic design embedded in it.
So with art direction, is that kind of like full layouts of publications? Or am I misconstruing that?
You're not wrong. It incorporates quite a bit more. I would say often art directors work with graphic designers. So it's more about strategy and the overall creative vision. And you tend to work with a team of creatives in addition to just doing the graphic design.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So, Regina, when we were talking, you had mentioned some of your initial work and passion for graphic design started in creating flyers for your friends' bands in high school.
Yes.
So, what was what ignited that? Like, who approached who? Like, did you first offer someone, or did someone see something you were working on and asked you to help out?
More like that. I think people, because I came from a small town, so I think everyone already knew I was an artist. So when friends are starting bands and stuff, they're like, hey, can you make us a flyer? Or, hey, can we do shirt design? And it kind of led into album art, which led more into the graphic design element of things. And I also had a stolen Adobe Photoshop off Pirate Bay. So that's
on LimeWire.
Oh,
I feel like anybody that's of millennial age has that same experience of getting software like that. Yeah. So if you can go back, what was the first band flyer that you made? Like, who was it for and what was on it?
I think the first was probably this little punk band from Seguin called Blue Bonnet Plague.
Okay.
They're definitely not around. Does anybody recognize them? But, they had... If I remember correctly, it was a blue bonnet, and the little white parts of the blue bonnet were like skulls. It was like, supposed to be.
Why does that seem like the most Texas punk thing that you could imagine?
Yeah. Yeah, they had a MySpace music page. It was the whole thing. It was fun.
MySpace, man.
MySpace, I know.
That takes me back. Okay. So, Ray, this is now your full-time gig, like freelance graphic artist all day, every day. So how did you make that decision to jump into that?
Just 16 years in the corporate world in a cubicle. It was fairly easy. I was pretty nervous about the change, but I'm telling you, I wouldn't go back. Okay. Doing everything on my own is awesome, and I have a little bit more freedom as far as creativity, and everything is on me, and I kind of like it, but it's scary. But yeah.
Has I guess the work-life balance that we're all kind of seeking improved in that? Like,
I mean, when I was in my cubicle, just hating the world, I would think about, I would sketch things, and like bands would also contact me, and I would just think about coming home and drawing that flyer that I had in my mind all day. So I was eager to get to it, and now that's all I do.
So I'm gonna open question, if nobody wants to jump out, I'll call on somebody. But as a passion outside of the need to eat and pay bills, why do you do this? Why is it a creative outlet where you feel like you can express yourself, or maybe express society, or is it maybe social, political commentary? Like, what really drives each of you to want to make this type of art?
I'm happy to jump in. Yeah, I really love solving problems, and I feel like I get to do that in a creative way every day. So that's something that motivates me, and I find really fulfilling.
Okay. Gina?
It's fun.
It's fun.
That's
okay.
all I got.
Well, so what's fun about it? What is it? Once you start,
Problem solving is definitely a good way to explain it, because someone comes to you with an idea. That's when it's like, all right, well, maybe we can combine this with this. And it definitely is trying to just creating an image, creating that communication and vision that the client wants.
So is it kind of like a rush when you show it to someone? You're like, oh my God, yes, this is exactly what I wanted.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
So that's the thrill-seeking part of it, I guess. Okay. So what kind of happens then when someone sees it and they're like, whoa, this is not what I was looking for.
I cry.
Start crying.
I'm not to put anybody on the spot, but I'm saying, like, I'm going to guess that everybody's maybe had that experience like a little bit. So would anybody like to chime in on that real quick?
Yeah. So if there is client feedback, and I don't, I'm always trying to make the client happy, but if I don't necessarily agree because it's really about preference over strategy, I try to gently educate the client as to why what I've designed is trying to achieve their goal. It's more than just, I like the color red. That's fantastic, but is that going to resonate with your target audience? Is that going to actually create an emotional reaction? And is that going to achieve your goal, which is ultimately the point of your business?
Gotcha. Okay. So Ray and Shelby, going back to the original question, like, what is this creative outlet for you? Like, why do you do this?
To me, it's therapeutic. It feels good to draw. It feels good to show your art. It feels good to like have a reaction, whether good or bad. It's fun to see people enjoy your artwork, to share it. It's so cool to like. I never thought I would be in that position to where somebody sees my art and then shows it off. That's just crazy to me, and it doesn't make sense to me, but I love it, and yeah, I mean, I just find it being creative and then showing it, something personal or something about your city or anything that you love, and being able to share it social media or in person or at art shows is just the best feeling.
Okay. And then Shelby, what drives you?
I really like when I work with a client who is not creative, and then, you like pull that out of their brain. And sometimes things that they didn't even think would work, I know it works. So I can show it to them, and they're just like, and then also just like, it's really cool when you work with local people, and then like a streetwear brand I work with, and I get to see people wearing shirts of it around town. That's always like a good feeling. Or like you see your logo. Like I have a logo that I've made somebody, and I drive past the front and I see it, and I'm like, wow, that was fun. You know, that's cool that everybody else gets to see it. It's very satisfying.
Cool. All right. So when we were talking last week and setting this up, I noticed that there was a common thread that everybody here has done some type of news graphic illustration, and that thread went even further to everybody has done, I think, something, maybe even cover art for the San Antonio Current, right? Okay. So that's one of the things I love about the Current is they really reach out deep into San Antonio and help like pull in artists to give life to the cover. So what I wanted to ask about that, especially with news illustrations, since TPR is a news organization itself, how does creating a news graphic differ from other artwork commissions or creations? So let's see. Ray, why don't we start with you?
Well, it's good to have direction because you don't really have to think yourself because you don't want to either offend anybody or they tell you what to draw pretty much. But they also tell you to put your own spin to it, which I really love. So it depends on the story that they're talking about. I love just the stories about San Antonio. That's easy for me to draw because that's all I know. But yeah, it's good to have good direction, working with the editor or the person doing the story, and it's a lot of fun. They pretty much tell you what to draw, and then you just add your what you think would look cool. But yeah.
And so, Regina, what was something that you drew for the Current?
I remember mine was a music episode, issue episode. I'm like stuck on watching Alien Earth. It was a music one. I remember Creed 23 was on it. I think Lonely Horse, Nick from Lonely Horse at the time, Pink Leche, and I forgot the other person. But it's more like they give you a direction, like, hey, these are the featured people in the issue, and you just kind of like, you do have to leave that space for the logo, of course, at top. But
What year was this?
definitely pre-COVID times. But it was like,
Okay.
I might have it on my Instagram.
Yeah, I'd love to know.
I'll share it with you.
Because I was the art director.
No way.
I was often the person giving the instructions. So in addition to designing myself, we just had a teeny tiny budget, which means that I would often have to design the majority of the covers. But when I was lucky and had saved up, I would get to work with really talented artists and illustrators. And I know I worked with Ray. He did some fantastic work. But I guess to answer your question, I think there's something really fun about having a shorter shelf life when it comes to design versus branding or even web design. You get to have a little more fun with it. You get to be a little bit more bold, a little more experimental, and also keep in mind that the audience just allows for more edge.
And then Shelby, what was your artwork for the Current?
I think it was like 2016 or 17. I think it was a vegetarian issue, like all the best vegetarian places. And I did like an old school, like, the movie theater, little popcorn walking and the soda walking. I did that with a bunch of veggies and like a little tofu. Yeah.
Like the let's all go to the lobby?
Yeah, totally.
Okay, cool. All right. So this is kind of a question for the audience. And again, we'll get to audience questions towards the end. But for those who are looking to get their start or advance into a career in graphic design, and this is an open question, how do you recommend somebody begins their career? Because it seems like everybody here has had their own different pathway. So I'm sure everyone here would love to know what your own experiences were like. And let's start with Regina.
I guess now it's just posting on social media and just fighting the algorithm. I know for me, it was getting involved with like art events and being a vendor. I used to sell like prints and stickers and shirts. But even back then, it was like Tumblr. Do you remember Tumblr? Someone had actually found me on Tumblr and landed me an art show like at Meltdown Comics. So just constantly putting yourself out there is what I guess you can do now to start as an artist.
Eli?
Yeah, so I believe there's data out there that says about 80% of jobs are found through your network. And that's certainly been the case for me. When I'm hiring a designer, it definitely helps if I know them, like them, trust them. And even if I don't know them personally, a referral goes a long way. So I would say, in addition to putting yourself out there, just remember that San Antonio is a small town in a lot of ways. So, try not to be well, it's TPR, so I won't finish that. But I think you know where I'm going with it.
Never burn a bridge kind of thing.
There we go.
And it's so true that San Antonio is a big city, but it's a small town because I cannot go to any HEB in this city without running into somebody that I know. So, so Ray, let me ask you, if for somebody that's just getting started,
You know what I'm going to say.
Okay.
Steal the copy from
Steal
Illustrator.
There we go. Okay.
Social media is, a perfect example of just showing, I post a lot of stuff. Like I post all my crappy drawings, my sketches, anything. It just, that I either trying to find your audience or, just practicing showing your artwork off. I think it's necessary to just keep, showing what you're, passionate about. Whether for me, I'm also showing a lot of photography. I've gone back into photography, so just getting my start by just helping out friends too. That's a big thing too. For people that own companies, I hook them up. For well, back in the day, I used to do it for beer money, but it was just to help out a friend, and then later on they're gonna help you out. Their band gets big, or you'll do other flyers for them. So just San Antonio is small, so take advantage of it, or big/small, but take advantage of it because helping out each other is the best part. Ask everything. Ask for help, all that kind of stuff.
So I'm hearing a common thread of networking.
It's important. Okay. Yeah.
And so, Shelby, if I can ask you really quick, what are your thoughts about somebody getting their start?
Y'all summed it up. And I mean, my biggest thing is always be nice to everybody, and that really gets you a long way. And then also consistency with posting and putting yourself out there. The person who has their art's maybe not that great but posts a lot, people are going to see them more often. They're going to think about them more often versus the person who's really good and never posts. You know what I mean? You got to constantly shove your art down people's faces, unfortunately. But
and Eli, you were going to chime in, I think.
Oh yeah. Oh yes, I forget I have a mic sometimes. I would also say, I know we've touched on Instagram quite a bit, but don't forget about LinkedIn. I think sometimes you're working with more, buttoned up professionals. It can feel a little more natural to exchange a LinkedIn connection rather than Instagram, where it might be a bit more personal. So make sure to hit all the different platforms.
So there was something that Ray mentioned a moment ago, you were picking up photography. So going back to photography. So before I get into the next section, I wanted to ask, what are some other artistic mediums other than graphic design that y'all find that you excel at or comfort in or like to dabble in? Regina.
I like to dilly-dally in 3D modeling.
Okay.
There's a program, if you have an iPad, called Nomad. It's $20 one-time purchase, but it's a very user-friendly than Blender. You're able to sculpt and even export the file for a 3D printer. So I like doing that.
And then, so Ray, you mentioned photography. Are there any others?
I love photography, and when I'm not drawing or anything, I just pick up a camera and just walk around town. But I also want to dabble in animation. I don't know. I've done one quick animation for my girlfriend's freestyle night. Everybody, Super Problema's in the house, and it was like a duck and he had an Edgar haircut, and it was quacking to this freestyle song, but it took me 3 to 4 hours just to do that 10-second clip. So stuff like that, I'd like to challenge myself. I think that's important too as an artist, just to do something outside of your norm.
Then Shelby, what else do you like to dabble in?
I do a lot of plein air outdoor painting, and then I've been starting the last 2 years to start doing quilting with my painting. So I'll go outside and do the plein air painting, and then take it off the frame, and then add a quilted border.
And then Eli.
Yeah. So I still feel like this falls under the umbrella of graphic design, but I really enjoy web design as well. I think there's something really fun about the interactive aspect of design.
And in each of those, do y'all feel like it kind of they translate into each other? Like, will the other mediums y'all are picking up also kind of fall into graphic design?
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking about colors and
Yeah.
how the layout looks a lot.
So I was doing some digging online, and I want to see if these numbers are correct. They come from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. This is from 2024, and it says that the median income for a full-time graphic designer is about $61,000 per year. On the lower end, it's about $37,000. On the higher end, that's about $100,000. That's nationwide statistics. So based on that information, do you feel like that's accurate, or maybe in your own experience it's way off?
I'm like, where's that 100,000 at? Where are they living?
Are they hiring?
Are they hiring?
So is that maybe 61 kind of like or in your experience like right now in like 2025 numbers is that like what would you say if somebody was going into a graphic design career? Would they see 61 right away, or would it be a different number?
I think it'd be lower to begin with.
Lower to
Yeah.
Lower.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, and something I would keep in mind is, while graphic design can be the finish line, a lot of people will start off as an entry-level graphic designer, then move to a mid or senior level graphic designer, from there an art director, and then a creative director. So there definitely is room for growth in the profession, but just keep in mind what you might start out at.
Okay. And so, Ray, we heard from you earlier about the shift over to full-time freelance. For the rest of it, do you feel like that full-time freelance is something that y'all could see yourselves doing in the future?
Yes, I mean, I'm doing it.
Well, no. I mean
Me?
for Regina, Eli, and Shelby.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, 16 years with the salary you were talking about. I worked in the industry for 16 years, and I did start off at a very low point. And Eli's right. I mean, I did senior positions, and I worked my way up into team leads, and it was you have more responsibility and less artwork that you have to do, but that's just the salary's nice. And but working by myself, I was like, well, maybe I'll find another graphic design job, and I would see the starting salaries, and I would just be like, well, maybe I'll just try this freelance stuff for a little bit longer, or maybe change a career. But I think my heart's into what I'm doing right now, and I'm grateful. And like I said before, I wouldn't go back personally to a 9-to-5 that I had before.
Anybody else like to chime in? Could you see yourselves doing full-time freelance, or do you like the mix right now of full-time with freelance on the side?
I would love to be freelance full-time. If I could quit my wine club job and pay my bills, I would love that.
Okay.
Because my boss sucks.
No.
They're not in the
Just being
audience.
honest.
Wow. Okay.
And apparently they don't listen to TPR.
Definitely doesn't.
Okay. So let's talk tools of the trade. Much like somebody, a painter is into paint, tattoo artists are into ink, and pastelists are into pastels, right? Maybe not. There's a canvas. So I want to dive into the programs that y'all use to bring your art to life. Eli, let's start with you. What are some of the things that are programs that you use, and how do you use them?
Yeah, so the full Adobe Creative Suite, I would say I use more tools in that toolbox than not. Specifically Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign. I also use quite a bit of Figma. And what's nice about Figma is it is a free tool. You can purchase a subscription, but you can do 90% of what you want to do without ever, sending any money their way, which is really nice. And Figma was originally designed for more user interface design and UX, but they've been expanding the tools now to where you can do a lot of design in Figma. So if you're on a super tight budget, maybe give that a shot first.
Okay. And so is Figma Figma or how do you okay?
Yep, that's correct.
Gotcha. All right. And so Regina, what are your favorite programs to use?
I mostly, freelance-wise, I mostly work on Procreate, which is free on the iPad. And then I also have a iPad version of Illustrator, which is kind of like a diet version than the desktop, but it has all the essential tools that I need to like make a logo, illustrate something in vector format. So those are my main two. And of course, I work at work. It's just regular Illustrator and Photoshop mostly. So
Okay. And Ray?
Recently, Procreate is the what I do for freelance, my own personal artwork. But in the corporate world, I was using just Illustrator and Photoshop. For my photography, I use Lightroom. Sorry, not Lighthouse. And but Procreate is just takes me back to using paper and like scanning it, and everything is all right then and there. And when I'm doing my screen prints, it's easy to separate colors on Procreate. Just because my process is very, very messy, but it's Procreate kind of like cleans it up for me.
Okay. And Shelby?
All same three.
Okay.
Those are my bread and butter.
Okay. So it kind of sounds like there's a, again, a common thread of everything that what's available out there. And Eli?
Yeah, there's just one thing I wanted to add, which is I have worked with a number of designers that will send me files that include both vectors and raster images. So essentially, photos and like illustrations that can expand or contract without losing resolution. And they'll often put it in Illustrator or Photoshop. Please, please, please don't do that. Use InDesign. Like, it's an incredible tool. Once you get the hang of it, it goes such a long way, and it'll really make you a much more valuable designer.
Okay. So this is kind of a quick fire question, but if you want to elaborate a little more on it, you're welcome to. Mac or PC?
Mac.
Mac for sure.
Mac.
I'm poor, PC.
So if I can ask, why Mac? What is it that separates like Mac from PC, especially for creatives?
That's just how I learned. Yeah.
Okay.
The people that I asked questions, they would tell me, the commands and everything. So it was just Apple. But for my 9-to-5 job, it was PC. But everybody complained that we wish we had an Apple. So.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Anybody else want to elaborate? Chime in a little more on that.
I think it's also like the nice looking interface kind of helps with designing sometimes.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. So we're gonna jump into AI now.
Boo.
So.
Boo.
Ooh. Okay. So when you're creating these, a lot of heart and soul goes into it. We have seen a massive rise in the use of AI, and it has received some intense criticism, especially as companies and individuals use prompts to create images via descriptions. So I want to ask, how has this impacted the amount of work or commissions or requests that you receive? And let's see, Ray, why don't we start with you?
Oh boy. So when I started my freelance gig full time, I was reaching out to clubs, bars, people that use flyers pretty much, and I was competing instantly with AI, and you can tell that they are using it. It's just it. I mean, I have a fee, and I don't think it's too pricey, but it includes, edits to the item, correct text, everything, the original artwork. But when I'm competing with a bar that's paying $20 a month and they can just do a prompt, I mean, you have to think about their bottom line as far as, I get what they're doing, but these are bars that support local, they support local bands, and I would hopefully they would support local artists, but it's they would rather pay $20 for a prompt. So that's been the hardest part for me, and just seeing the artwork that comes out from AI. It is getting better, I will admit, but at the same time, there is still just a vibe. It's a feel. It's so like it's just it doesn't seem right, and I think I'm not alone here when I say that. It's kind of scary, but at the same time, if you develop your own style, if you develop your own look, I think you should be good, So yeah, that's just one thing I've noticed.
So, what are your thoughts on when certain AI models seem to be able to copy somebody's style? And I do want to jump back to the other question in a second, but have you seen your own styles being copied by AI and reused?
My style? No, I don't think. The styles that I've seen, they'll do like a famous artist, like a Warhol or in the style of Jack Kirby or something like that, and it does a pretty good job. Of course, it's not like the masters, but it just makes me really upset when I see that because it's such a quick little fix for their event or anything like that, to where I would think the event planner or anything would want something really, really nice and unique to them, but it doesn't seem that way.
Okay. And so, Shelby, let me ask you: have you seen a decline in people reaching out for commissions? Like, what's your been experience as AI usage has risen?
I've actually been getting more people sending me AI images and saying, "Here's my idea, and this is what AI came up with. Can you transfer it into your style?" And the nice thing that AI can't do right now is it can't separate layers on a file, and it can't make a vector. It can't set up things for print right now. So I can basically do that and take the art, do it my style, and then set it up for print. So right now, hopefully, never gets there, but AI cannot do that.
So let me ask you on that. Do you feel in that way that it's a tool in having somebody requesting a commission kind of get that general idea of what they want the end product to look like with your help?
Yeah, but I'm also worried that one day they'll just be like, you know what, I don't need you anymore, because clearly it's getting my idea enough.
Okay. And so, Eli, let me ask you the same question. Have you seen any decreases or increases in people seeking out your work with either with or without AI?
I haven't seen too much of a drop. That being said, I was pretty mindful in terms of the direction my career has been taking. When it comes to one-off pieces that may not have a long shelf life, I don't do as much of that. I specifically have been moving in the direction of branding and web design, something that requires a bit more strategies, storytelling, and really connecting authentically with a very specific audience. So I think more about what is the value my design is bringing versus my hourly rate. I think a piece that's going to exist in the world for a few days has value, but a piece that can exist in the world for decades is going to have a lot more value, and clients are going to be willing to pay that and really allow me to do the work that's involved, whether that's research, iterations, and refinement.
And so, Regina, how has AI impacted both your? Because I remember when we were talking, since you do T-shirt work, that some folks will bring stuff in. But how has AI impacted your day-to-day work?
I kind of lean what Shelby was saying. I always have to end up cleaning up someone else's AI prompt. We'll have customers to be like, "Oh, I have my artwork already." I'm like, "Oh, hey, great, email it, PDF, vector form, whatever you have." And it is, you'll see in the file name Chat GPT, it's it's a PNG that they said. I'm just like, great. So it's always at least on my end at the print shop, I'm having to vector their idea, clean it up, edit here and there. So with AI, there's always someone, a real human on the other side that has to at least make it print ready. Versus I do see the bars that I have done work for post a flyer they just made with a little AI prompt. So it is kind of like I do see some flyers I lose, but at the same time I'm still getting other clients too. So I'm not seeing a real drop, just kind of I see it climbing. That's just right.
Okay.
Do you mind if I ask a question?
Sure.
Yeah, so I'm curious, if a client were to bring, let's say, a logo design that they have in mind, do you often push back on the idea because it maybe doesn't align with their audience or the strategy, or do you tend to just kind of go with the flow and you're like, I got it, take that paycheck?
I think it depends if they're paying me enough.
Right.
Because sometimes if
right.
it's a cheap little job, I'll be like, whatever, I'll just
Yeah.
take what you have. But normally, yeah, I like, that's part of the problem solving. That's like the fun part of like, okay, but
Right.
what if it was like this?
Yeah, fair enough, for sure. Yeah, that's one thing I think AI doesn't replace, is that human element of really educating, which is something I've seen like that's a necessary part of my work more and more, because I get a lot of little AI designs here and there, and then I sit down and I talk about, well, this is why this quite doesn't align. And people tend to be pretty responsive.
Mm-hmm. So let me ask, do y'all see any benefit into using AI for creative projects? Is there anything that you feel that it helps maybe either speed things along, or do you perhaps see no benefit?
Well,
I mean, it helps in like Photoshop when you need to like remove the background super quick, and I can just click a button and it does it for me.
Okay.
That saves me so much time.
Okay.
yeah, absolutely. Photoshop has been killer. I would say also the research side of things. You know, there was just a situation last week where I was working with a client who he manages short-term rentals, and he wanted a symbol that represented both hospitality and also reference his background. He's from Sri Lanka. So rather than spending a ton of time diving into various symbols and trying to find the overlap, I was able to throw that prompt into ChatGPT, and then it comes back with a list of potential icons.
Okay.
And then I take that list, and as for the design, that's all me. But research, really helpful.
So it can help like shape ideas.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It's just, I still love going to the library, but there's something nice to be said about being able to throw it in and then get an answer in 5 minutes.
Gotcha. Okay.
Mhm.
So, Regina?
There's a cool thing I've been seeing like pop up on my feed is when graphic designers are making like a brand package for people, like embroidery hats and like polos and stuff. I do see that there's a thing where you can upload it to ChatGPT and say like, make this logo look like embroidered patch, and that way they just download it, throw it on a cap, so it just looks a little more polished when you send your clients a brand package.
And Ray?
I mean, yeah, the clients that come to me for any kind of art from me will show me something that they've created as a prompt. They keep telling me I wanted this, but in your style. So I mean, if I'm really reaching, that can be super helpful for someone who can't sketch it out themselves and give me something super quick. It's really rare because I still just give them a sketch of what I'm doing, and I don't really need ChatGPT to help me personally. But yeah, when the client can't tell me in certain words or anything like that, or if we come up with an idea together, they'll be like this, and I'll be like, oh, okay, I can draw it in my style. But yeah, it's mainly for the customer. I would think that would be helpful.
So where do you see AI going in the design realm over the next few years? It doesn't seem like it's going away, and you have certain entities throwing quite literally billions of dollars into enhancing it. What do you think will happen, let's say, over the next 3 to 5 years? So open question. Anyone wants to chime in?
I mean, the way that it's grown and gotten better at doing what it's doing, I mean, I would assume that it's going to get even better. But like I said before, having your own style as an artist and having your own feel is critical now. I mean, you have to have that because, if ChatGPT or anything like that steals from you, at least, it's a vibe that you bring out to your clients, and people that know your art knows that you did it. So I don't know what the future holds when it comes to that. I'm scared, but.
And so before we get into audience questions, would anybody else like to chime in on that?
I'm also scared.
Yeah, I was
Okay.
I don't know. I'm scared.
Wow. Let's brighten things up a little bit. So, does anybody
Yeah,
have
change the subject.
All right. So, let's go ahead and go out to audience questions. If you have a question, raise your hand really quick. Yeah. Okay.
We
So I see
can't see
somebody right
that.
up here in the front row. Why don't you come up here to the microphone?
Oh, this mic.
And so, what's your name?
I'm Tam.
Tam. Okay.
And so I wanted to ask, like, born and raised, or maybe not, from San Antonio, do you feel like your art has evolved as San Antonio art style? You know what I'm saying?
Is it to anybody specific?
No,
Just in general?
Yeah.
I'm born and raised on the west side of San Antonio, and the majority of my artwork is about San Antonio, and I'm very proud of that. It's like I was saying before, I only draw what I know, and the neighborhoods around here, that's what inspires me. So I just draw that, and I hope in the future people will look at my artwork and say, yeah, that guy's from San Antonio. But
Okay. Anybody else want to chime in?
Yeah, I feel like with my colors, I've definitely used like Fiesta type colors a lot, and like just like like all the houses on the south side are like blue and yellow and purple, and like those. I mean, I grew up around that, and I was always just like, I love fun colors,
Same with colors on my end. I think my stuff's kind of a lot more colorful.
I think in this sense, I might be a bit of an outlier. I tend to like kind of a minimalist, sleek, polished design. And if I really had to compare it to the aesthetic of San Antonio, there is some overlap, but I think it's a style that's pretty distinct to me.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Tam. All right. So next, come on up.
My question is, if you could, I guess, have a dream project for your graphic design, who would your client be, and what kind of campaign would it be for?
dang, deep.
Ooh, I want to redesign all the Spurs stuff, all of it, the court and everything.
Yeah,
The stadium too. I want to design it.
she stole my answer. That's it. Yeah.
I would love to design for a chain of luxury hotels where they require that I stay at every single one, travel the world to really make sure I understand how the brand ticks.
Okay, if we're adding that, I'm adding season tickets for the rest of my life to the Spurs game.
That's right.
Regina?
Oh, I don't know. I'm just enjoying everyone else's answers. I'm like, oh, that's good. I like that.
Yeah, the Spurs. Well, I did when I did work for the Spurs doing that one design. That I thought I can like pack it up, but I want to do it again. So yeah.
Well, there's this little thing on the ballot called Project Marvel that might help. I'm kidding. All right. Wow. Okay.
Dang.
All right. So next question, Ian, coming up, and then let's pick the next person. Who has it? Okay, let's go ahead and get you to stand right over there.
Hi, y'all. I'm a big fan of all of y'all. Hi. What is your biggest graphic design pet peeve? And like rant about it. Just like rant.
Oh.
Can you say that last?
Your pet peeve? Like
The
what
angrier,
annoys you
the
most
better.
about like, huh?
I was gonna say the angrier, the better.
Yeah.
Oh.
I have a good one. Okay, I was about to curse. I hate
it.
when they give you a logo and it's this big and they send you an Illustrator file and they're like, yeah, it's a vector because it's an Illustrator file, but it's this big and it's pixelated as shit. That's not a vector. What are you doing?
Yeah. Drag them.
Was that good?
Yeah, that was
Okay.
great. I'm not a graphic designer, but I want to hear all of that. So.
They usually tell me, I don't like your style, but we want you to draw it in someone else's style. And I'm like, I don't know if I should feel hurt or like, but why did you call me, and have this meeting with me in front of everybody? So, yeah.
I guess mine would be like people are like, just make it cool, and then it's like, how cool are we going?
Yeah.
Like how cool? Yeah. And then you make something. Of course, they're just like, not that. I don't like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would say it's a red flag whenever a client tells you, I'm so easygoing. Just do whatever you think is best. Those tend to be and then no direction. And those tend to be the clients that have the strongest opinions once it's all said and done. And the smallest budgets.
Wow.
Thank y'all.
Thanks, Ian. All right, next. What's your name and your question?
Jimmy, I had a question for Ray. Specifically, like going from a full-time corporate thing to freelance still.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to freelance, but I've been at a place for like 20 years.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's like really tough. So I'm just like, I've been thinking about it lately, so I wanted to.
I would say go for it, but my company was on the way down, so they gave everybody like voluntary severance packages,
Okay.
and I was like, I'm gonna take it. And
Well, I'm almost in that same situation.
okay, I
Almost,
mean,
almost.
it's scary. It of course you would think so, but it's just as much hustle as you put into it as is what you're gonna get out of it, because that's what I've figured out. When I first stopped, I thought it was gonna be easy to find a job based on things that I've done in the past, but you can't really rely on it. You still gotta like connect. You still gotta go to art shows and connect with other people and connect with businesses. It's scary, but once you start talking to other clients, their clients are going to talk to other people and recommend you, and that's just when I've just started to see that right now.
Okay.
So I wouldn't lose hope. It's scary for maybe like the first 3 months, and then
Yeah,
and then
I just
one.
got a lot of people depending on that check.
That's right. Yeah, and
That's where the tough part is.
but connections with you're marketing yourself,
Yeah.
spending the money to like tell everybody, hey, I'm available. That's one thing I've learned, and I'm still learning.
Do you find? Sorry, another question.
Okay.
Do you find that that's my friend?
You're gonna have to
Do
wait.
you find that? So, I went and I taught myself motion graphics. I taught myself to be a photographer,
Yeah.
right? Because I was trying to make myself indispensable.
Sure.
But at the end of the day, when the company's not doing well, it's like so. I've gotten back into my photography and
Yeah.
stuff, and so I stopped. I started archiving a lot of my stuff because
Yeah.
I felt like I posted way too much.
Don't
But,
say that. Just
no?
keep posting.
Okay.
Keep posting. Keep learning. Like when I got back into photography, there's so much stuff that I totally forgot from when I learned in the past about settings on your camera and everything like that. And I'm like, oh, that's right. That's why my pictures are crappy. But like, it's just. I can't express enough to just keep learning other programs, learning business techniques too. I mean,
Okay.
that goes a long way too, and having a good support system financially, like a good tax person, and everything like all that crap I never thought I would have to do.
Right.
You have to do it, and it's like it sucks, but that's the only way. That if you get that out of the way, then you can start being creative and start doing your thing.
Yeah,
and
that's
getting
what I
your
like
style.
to do. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you,
man.
Jimmy. All right. Next.
My name is Ray. My question is basically, how do you guys find your styles? Or like, what is it that got you to the point where you were able to set yourself apart? Because I mean, that's kind of how we're all eventually gonna get our success is what makes us special, what makes us stand out, so that specific clients come to us. So how do you guys recommend, or how did you guys get to that point that was able to set you apart?
I feel like I just drew what I wanted.
Yeah.
Like if I had like a dream for like a t-shirt and I would just come up with it myself, I'd be like,
The dreams.
yeah, like whatever I wanted it to look like, I was just like, that's what it's gonna look like.
Cool.
And then people eventually were like, yeah, I like that.
Yeah, relatable, because I just like make shirt designs that I wanted. Like
Yeah.
I wanted that on the shirt, so I just made it, and then people liked it. So I was like, all right, cool.
Yeah, there was times where I would be like, I wish there was a shirt that looked like this, and I'm like, wait a minute, I'm a graphic designer. I can make that. I can make it myself. So I'm influenced by other people's art, especially on this panel too. But you eventually try to like make it your own, and I mean, it's hard, but yeah, it's exactly what Richie said.
One more question since you got to. What's your favorite font?
Oh, wow.
Most of you guys probably do custom. You prefer doing custom. But what would be your go-to font if you just got a really?
Reggie Pyrus.
I was about to say anything about papyrus, but I didn't know if that was too.
Avatar. That meme. Avatar is the pirates. Shoot. I don't know.
I like a good Futura bold.
Okay, cool.
It's classic and clean.
I
Remember.
actually really like Bungie myself. I know that's actually probably my favorite font.
I think the W in railway is just super sexy.
I agree with that one.
Wow.
I use Railway a lot.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Next.
Hi, my name is Jessica, longtime listener, first-time question asker. I'm not creative at all. Well, that's not true. I create opportunities. But I had a question, and Ray, you were speaking to it just a second ago, but especially because there's a lot of people in here that seem like they want to get into the business of what you guys do. I was wondering if you could speak more to the business aspect, like how you're contracting, maybe pitfalls you've encountered in dealing with people, and ways that you've been able to protect yourself within the operations of your business.
Okay. Have a contract that is about 5 times as long as you think is necessary. Truly, I hope I never get to that situation with a client, but spell every single thing out. You can say, I will do 2 rounds of revisions after delivery of the initial design. No, 2 rounds, that means one thing to one person and another thing to another person. I will do 3 hours of revisions after the initial design. Really spend a lot of time with your contract, and also educating the client ahead of time, because there's nothing worse than thinking we're on the same page only to have them find out later, this is not what I expected. So educate before you send the contract, educate after you send the contract, and if they're not holding up their end of the bargain, you've got the words to back it up. Also, document everything. So a quick phone call, that's all well and good. After that, I'll go ahead and send an email recapping what was said, because there's nothing worse than saying we're on the same page with something, and then suddenly, they were busy multitasking, and they had an entirely different recollection of what the decision was, and now you've spent tons of time finalizing it. So document and really strong contracts.
This is what I'm learning. I am like the worst businessman ever, especially since starting it. I'm the most trusting person ever. I will give a price and I'll be like, you don't have to pay me now. I'm going to do a sketch for you. And I do the sketch and I show my girlfriend, this is great, right? This is great. And I don't hear from them. And I'm like, people ask me like, did you get a deposit? I'm like, no. I thought they were just going to pay me afterwards. So I've gotten burned. Stop laughing. That's my girlfriend. She knows this to be true. So I'm learning this. Contracts are very important. I need to come up with some sort of strategy and get half down or something. But these are things that I'm learning.
Yeah, I was going to say half deposit is the best for me.
Mm-hmm.
Same.
Now's a good time to hire me as an artist because I won't charge. I'm just joking.
So-
I'm joking.
As we start to wind things down, I want to finish up these 2 questions that are here. I think it's 2 people. It's maybe 3, 2. Let's see.
It's a whole line.
There's a line outside.
There's a
It
whole
wraps
line.
around.
Okay. So let's see. We'll limit it to 1 response each, just so we can stay on time. But go ahead.
Regina could speak for
Well,
us.
so So 1 response for each question.
Hi, my name's Rio. I was wondering, how do you guys... So social media's like changed a ton. How do you guys break through the algorithm? And also, do you just have to be like constantly online to do so? It's just like, is that the solution? Yeah.
Do we only... Oh, we all say something?
Well, so let's...
At the same
I
time.
think you meant only one person talks.
Yeah. So let's go with one answer for right now from one person. Whoever wants to chime in on this.
You have to show your face nowadays. Yeah, I know that's a big thing.
Okay. Well, that was quick, so we can do. Okay. we'll do it rapid fire.
Keep posting and show your face. Yeah, I mean that's the only way I think it's gonna help.
Yeah, same. There are some things where if I worked really hard on it, I will like throw $20 behind and boost a post. So that'll kind of break through other people's feeds and stuff, and I'll get follows that people saw it pop up on their thing or their Explore page. I've gotten jobs from people that have messaged me like, "Oh, I saw you on my Explore page." Da, 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 da. So that's one thing. If you have like $20 to throw sometimes.
It helps.
I have nothing new to add to that.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right. Thank you very much.
I'm not the one on stage. This is okay. How do you approach pricing your work or valuing your time?
I'd usually charge an hourly rate.
Yeah, I try to do hourly, if possible. There's a lot of factors with my art that needs different prices and everything, but hourly for sure.
I agree with hourly. There are some returning clients, and it's always just like a flat fee for them because I know they're always going to approve it right away, so there's no edits or anything. So between hourly and let's having a flat fee for at least your, I guess, good customers.
Eli?
I like to start off with a per project rate. That way we're both on the same page for approximately, how much it's going to cost. And then if there are additional services that are needed, then I move to an hourly rate. But even outside of all of that, I'm really trying to focus more on value-based pricing. So what is the value to the client? It might take me 10 hours to do something that they're going to use for a weekend, and that might not have the same value as something that's going to be around for a decade.
And is that rate something that y'all would be open to talking about right now, or is it kind of like maybe it's different depending on the project itself?
Yeah, I think mine's kind of depending on if it's like a returning client who's kind of hard to work with, then I charge a lot more.
Okay.
Same.
Yeah, it just depends on the client.
Gotcha. Okay.
Mm-hmm. There's
so
a discount.
be nice to your artist.
Yes, there is a discount for being likable and easy to work with.
Yep.
Okay. Friendliness. All right. Thank you so much. And then I think there's this last question. I think one more. Okay.
Hey everybody, Anthony. My question had a really tough time deciding because I wanted to ask two questions, but I'll limit it to one. Outside of your creative tool set, what piece of software or tool can you absolutely not live without? Like, what makes your day so much easier?
Procreate.
Outside of your creative stuff.
Oh.
Sorry, that was my fault.
I just doom scroll memes, reels. That's all my free time.
Like, so Ray, I'll kind of direct a question to you. Outside of your creative flow, software, anything like that, business-wise, we're talking about pricing and stuff like that. Whether it's like an email tool, I don't know, pricing software, CRS, I don't know, the tool that helps you out the most.
I mean, they probably would help you more because, again, I'm the worst businessman ever. So what I'm using is like, spreadsheets and like just on field notes, just sketching ideas, but also like writing down prices I gave to people and stuff like that. So just pencil and paper. Does that sound okay? I know that sounds weird, but
sorry, I know we're on time here, but I'm gonna just reposition the question real quick. What is the thing in business you hate dealing with the most?
Ooh, I think we've talked about that, right?
Well, I'm happy to jump in.
Oh yeah.
So I wouldn't say I necessarily hate it, but something that's really valuable is I track my time. And I mean, I track my time to 5-minute increments. I have a software that you just set a timer, you name the project, I do my thing, and when I'm done, I click end, everything is stored. So at the end of the day, week, month, I actually see bar graphs showing how much or little work I've done, and it's really hard to lie to yourself when you have that visual data.
See, I need something like that.
I use the same thing.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
And it's great for billing clients.
Yeah.
What is that program called?
So most people will use QuickBooks, but I like FreshBooks. It's just a little bit more user-friendly.
I use one called Toggle, Toggl.
I'm going to allow one more because we do have to wrap up. I think, was there one more person in line? No? No?
That's
Okay,
it.
that was it. Okay, cool. Well, thank you so much. All right, so let's go ahead and give a round of applause for our panelists. So a big thank you to Eli, Shelby, Ray, and Regina, and a thank you to our audience for attending. Be sure to follow Texas Public Radio on social media. If you see a news posting on there, I'm most likely the one that posted it. You can follow our socials at Texas Public Radio, and you can also follow each of our panelists on their socials. You can see those up front on the big screen out there. And lastly, we would like to say thank you to the City of San Antonio's Department of Arts and Culture, and also the Lifshutz Foundation for making today possible. So thank you, everybody, and thank you for supporting public radio.